That shot, but you'll take it. You'd rather have him 31 points per game, just percentage points ahead of what he averaged last year, also 31 a game.
That's the shot. That right there. Get Lopez off of Sengun. That's the play.
Giannis Antetokounmpo fires back at rival Sengun while defending his legacy after EuroBasket.
Giannis is one of the best players in the world, and we just try to help Ercan, and I think we did a good job. He's not a great passer, he's an amazing player.
Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Milwaukee Bucks superstar and global ambassador for the game of basketball, has never been a stranger to scrutiny. Yet even after a decade of dominance in the NBA and a trophy cabinet that rivals some of the all-time greats, his legacy remains a subject of debate.
Sengun ends up tackling Tate. Lopez goes toppling over Tate and Sengun, and there's Giannis by himself at the other end of the floor.
You can imagine there was a very spirited film session.
Yet even after a decade of dominance in the NBA and a trophy cabinet that rivals some of the all-time greats, his legacy remains a subject of debate. The latest spark came not from the NBA stage but from EuroBasket 2025, where a semi-final loss to Turkey unleashed a flurry of commentary, pointed criticism, and ultimately, a rare public response from the usually soft-spoken Giannis.
I'm a guy that I don't like to talk a lot. I let my game talk. I'm going to my 13th season in the NBA. I've won everything. Everything.
At the center of this storm is Alperen Sengun, the 23-year-old Houston Rockets phenom whose rise to stardom has been one of the brightest stories in international basketball. Sengun's pointed comments about Giannis' game lit the fuse, and what followed was a candid defense of legacy, pride, and what it truly means to represent one's country. The semi-final that sparked it all. For fans of European basketball, Greece versus Turkey is more than a semi-final, it's a clash of basketball traditions and national pride. Both countries have produced NBA stars, both boast passionate fan bases, and every meeting carries political and cultural undertones beyond the hardwood. The semi-final matchup in Berlin was a tense, physical affair. Sengun led Turkey with confidence and flair, showcasing his trademark creativity in the post, spins, no-look passes, and footwork that echoed a young Nikola Jokic. Giannis, as always, responded with relentless force, attacking the rim and willing Greece forward. But when the final buzzer sounded, Turkey emerged victorious, booking their place in the gold medal game while Greece was left to play for bronze. It wasn't just the result that made headlines. In the post-game glow, Sengun took a subtle but sharp jab at Giannis, downplaying his passing ability and hinting that the Greek freak's offensive style lacked versatility. To some, it was the bravado of a rising star. To others, it was a challenge, one that Giannis did not ignore. Giannis fires back. "I'm a guy who doesn't like to talk a lot, I let my game talk," Giannis responded when asked about Sengun's comments. "I'm going into my 13th season in the NBA. I've won everything. Everything." The tone was unmistakable. Giannis, who often avoids confrontation, was drawing a line in the sand. His career achievements speak for themselves: 2 NBA MVP, 2019, 2020, NBA champion, 2021, NBA Finals MVP, 2021, Defensive Player of the Year, 2020, multiple All-NBA and All-Defensive Selections EuroBasket medals with Greece. For Giannis, Sengun's words weren't just personal. They touched on something bigger: the perception of his game, his style, and his place in basketball history. Why legacy matters to Giannis. In today's NBA, debates about legacy dominate the conversation as much as the games themselves. Rings, MVPs, international medals, influence on the sport, all are weighed against one another. For Giannis, who has built his career on humility, hard work, and family values, the concept of legacy goes beyond stats. After Greece rebounded to beat Finland and claim bronze, Giannis opened up about what the medal meant. "My legacy was on the line," he admitted. "This tournament meant everything to me. Winning the bronze wasn't just about a medal. It was about proving something to myself, to my country, and to basketball fans who followed me throughout my career." Calling the medal the biggest success of my life surprised many who assumed his NBA championship would always top the list. But to Giannis, wearing the Greek jersey is about identity. It's about honoring his roots in Athens, his family's journey from Nigerian immigrants to Greek citizens, and the connection he feels to his countrymen. In international competition, where the margin for error is smaller and the spotlight is unforgiving, every achievement carries a weight that NBA accolades can't replicate. Sengun, the challenger from Turkey. To understand why this exchange resonates so deeply, one must look at Alperen Sengun's meteoric rise. Drafted 16th overall in 2021, Sengun quickly carved a role for himself with the Houston Rockets. By 2025, he had developed into one of the league's most dynamic big men, blending old-school post-play with modern versatility. At just 23, he has already been labeled the Turkish Jokic, though Sengun prefers to carve his own path. His creativity on the court, no-look passes, high IQ reads, and an expanding offensive arsenal makes him one of the toughest matchups in the NBA. His comments about Giannis, then, weren't just trash talk. They symbolized a new generation of stars unafraid to challenge established icons. Sengun embodies a shift in basketball culture, a world where respect for legends exists, but fear does not. Greece versus Turkey, more than a game. Basketball between Greece and Turkey carries a history that magnifies every moment. The rivalry stretches back decades, fueled by geopolitics and cultural pride. Every matchup feels like a statement of identity. For Giannis and Sengun, their exchange was not happening in a vacuum. It was led atop years of basketball battles between the two nations. For fans in both countries, the semi-final wasn't just about advancing to the final. It was about bragging rights, validation, and national pride. Sengun's words stung more precisely because of that context, and Giannis' defense of his legacy resonated all the louder. What this rivalry says about the NBA. The Giannis-Sengun exchange reflects a broader truth. The NBA is now a global league, and international rivalries are no longer confined to summer tournaments. With so many stars hailing from Europe, Africa, Asia, and beyond, the league thrives on narratives that cross continents. Consider the Jokic-Embiid MVP debates, Luka Doncic's battles with US stars, or Giannis' duels with Durant and LeBron. Sengun's challenge is the latest in a pattern of international stars shaping the NBA storyline. The fact that their first sparks flew in a EuroBasket semi-final makes it all the more compelling. These rivalries don't end when summer ends. The weight of Giannis' 13th season. Heading into his 13th NBA season, Giannis finds himself at a crossroads. He has nothing left to prove statistically, yet the hunger that drives him hasn't faded. He knows his championship window in Milwaukee is still open but narrowing, and his words after EuroBasket suggest that he's more motivated than ever. For Sengun, the NBA future is wide open. He is the centerpiece of Houston's young core, already proving he can be a franchise cornerstone. His willingness to call out Giannis shows a player unafraid of expectations, and one eager to test himself against the very best. The next Bucks-Rockets matchup will now carry an extra layer of intrigue. Will Sengun back up his words on the NBA stage? Will Giannis remind him, and the world, why he's considered one of the game's modern legends? Legacy, pride, and the future. Basketball is more than a sport of numbers, it's a sport of narratives. Giannis' journey from the streets of Athens to global superstardom is already one of the most inspiring in sports history. Sengun's rise from Turkey to NBA stardom adds a new thread to the fabric of international basketball's evolution. What makes this rivalry fascinating is how it blends personal pride with national identity and generational shift. For Giannis, it's about protecting a legacy earned through blood, sweat, and sacrifice. For Sengun, it's about carving his own name into the storybooks, even if it means challenging one of the giants of the game. As the dust settles from EuroBasket and the NBA season looms, one thing is certain: this conversation isn't over. Giannis may have defended his legacy with words, but on the court, both he and Sengun will have opportunities to let their games do the talking. Timeline of key achievements. Giannis Antetokounmpo drafted 15th overall by Milwaukee Bucks, 2013, first NBA All-Star appearance, 2017, back-to-back MVP, 2019, 2020, NBA champion and Finals MVP, 2021, EuroBasket medals with Greece, 2022, 2025, Alperen Sengun. Drafted 16th overall by Houston Rockets, 2021, NBA All-Rookie Team, 2022, Breakout All-Star, 2024, EuroBasket Semi-Final Heroics, 2025, emerging as Houston's franchise centerpiece. The rivalry between Giannis Antetokounmpo and Alperen Sengun is more than a clash of two players. It's a story about legacy, pride, and the eternal cycle of sports where the new generation tests the old. For Giannis, the message is clear: his career speaks for itself, and he won't let anyone rewrite his story. For Sengun, the gauntlet has been thrown, and the basketball world will be watching to see if he can rise to the challenge.